Hi folks, and welcome to the Filmroom channel, and this time with a video I don't want to do actually, and which I have tried to make 5 times now, and because it's I think it will be a slightly different one. First things first, I do respect everyone in principle, and I assume that everyone is equally competent in principle, and who isn't can get out a book and read something, and not only one book in several but in several on several occasions. But if the topic's a little bit difficult, you need to study the subject. So, but in principle, everyone gets equal respect, and I am always willing to lend a hand if anyone lacks information or something, and if that's if anyone is friendly, and I will always reach out and try to help. That said, what this channel is about is Slöjd in nature. It's bushcrafts, if you so will, and maybe something that some people might call survival. But as if you know me, I won't call it that way, because it isn't, in my opinion. It is about mountain biking and micro adventures in the woods, and well, staying sane and healthy in insane times. It's not a matter of belief, but I strongly advocate international law, and the most important thing is the UN Charter of Human Rights. This means that I think that the dignity of each individual on Earth is not to be tampered with. I, as you might have guessed by now, am a little bit neurospicy, and that means that I, first and foremostly, out of pure egotism, support neurospicy people too. That's the first thing you need to know. The second thing is, I think that it doesn't matter a shit whether you are black, brown, yellow, red, white, with blue polka dots, green, or what have you. So there will be no racism on this channel. In no case at all. In the context of that, but due to other reasons, which I will come to in a minute, there will be no racialism, which is the assumption that there are human races. This is not for political reasons, but because due scientific research from the 1990s onwards, we now know that there is a phenotype, that we do have a certain phenotype, that, for instance, someone with red hair and pale skin has problems adapting to the sun, and things like that, or that there is a lactose intolerance with Asian people, and but these are according to the research that has been done since the 1990s, are variations in the phenotype, not as a race per se. The concept of race is deriving from white supremacy lines of thinking and colonialism, and this vlog is especially making a case against colonialism and advocating human rewilding. So it's a little bit more complex than that, because we actually did have to assume, because we didn't know, say in the 70s or 80s, that there was such a thing as human race. This has, however, been debunked by the research that has been done with the DNA in the 90s of the last century, meaning 1990 onwards. And I think it was 1997 or something that the DNA was decoded, or something like that. And that's just a guess now. I would have to look it up. But it was in the 90s that we decoded the DNA as far as it would go at the time. It is still an ongoing research, because this is what science is about. Science is always moving, and nothing is as old as the medical encyclopedia from last year, and you can't use a medical, and it's that is an order by the Association of Doctors in Germany, for instance, that you are to always stay on top of things, on top of research, and so you can't use the encyclopedia from last year. So racialism is a concept that is outdated, and for that reason I will not support it, because it is simply not true, and science has proven it not to be true. And since racialism and racism often go hand in hand, not always but often, you won't find that on this vlog, and you will abstain from it in the comments. Not because I would restrict your opinion, but as I said, I assume you in principle have everyone here has the same competence, and if anyone doesn't know something, you can always ask, politely so. Talking of which, what I will from now on also no longer tolerate is something like black rhetorics, black semantics, or black psychology. That doesn't have anything to do with skin color or what have you, quite the contrary, but it is referring to violent use of linguistics. You will abstain from this in the comment section. As an example, there are three kinds of logical arguments, or one kind of logical argument, but three kinds of arguments in rhetorics. One is the argumentum ad rerum. This is sits perfectly well with me. I'm enthusiastic about it, because it is an argument towards the case and arguing the topic on topic. The next two are argumentum ad hominem and argumentum ad personam. The argumentum ad hominem is an argument against the human being. Meaning, if someone would say, I And take note, I didn't take that personal. It's just a perfect example for really shitty tactics in a conversation. If someone speaks out that he's not been too well in the past days or in the past weeks or month or what have you, and you say, well, we have an argument. It's about that topic, but I don't make a case towards that topic, but towards you, because you are not credible, because you are off the rocker. If you can prove that there is coherence between me being off the rocker, being biased, or what have you, because I've got say the glasses, the goggles of depression on, and I paint everything black, and it isn't black, and you will say me, well, look, you say to me, well, look there, that's not as bad as it seems. Then I will perfectly be okay with that. That's not what I'm saying. But if you say you are suffer from depression, so you will have no right to say that. That's a difference, and I will not tolerate that from now on. Not because I would restrict your opinion, but because it is not an argument to your case, but an argument against a human being. Another thing is the argumentum ad personam. This is slightly different to the argument against a human being, because it's a little less mean, and it can actually have a point. And so if you are, say you are in a political board of chairs, and you are having a discussion, and you say, well, there's that politician, and he wants, say, a decrease on tax on fossil fuels, and his wife is working for, say, the fossil lobby or what have you, or fossil corporation or something. Then you can say, well, pardon me, I think that you are biased because your person is involved in, you are not objective, but you have something that's for your benefit, and you are, for that you are biased. That would be a case. So, but if you would say, if it weren't about fossil fuel taxes in that said board of chairs, it were, say, about, well, that politician says, well, open a school and give more funds to the library, and the opposition says, well, you have no right to say that because your wife is in the fossil fuel lobby. Then you are with the argumentum ad hominem again, the argument against a human being, and that's not happening. And also, you should, not out of moral considerations, think twice whether you want to attack the discussion partner. I strongly advocate that you see everyone as a discussion partner, because we are in this shit together. If you watch the Artemis mission, you have maybe seen the pictures of planet Earth. And, well, surprise, it's a globe. And you have maybe noticed that there are no stars around it. There is nothing bright or nothing. It's just an utter void. And, well, I don't like my neighbors much. And maybe they don't like me much, because it's not a one-way street. But the flat I own is not going anywhere, and so I need to make do with my neighbors. And the same goes for planet Earth. And I would, from my heart, would wish that we could realize that we are on this ship, and that this Earth is the only thing we have, and we will die if it were not for that. So, and if I said that and all this, you might assume that I also support everyone. That I support the LGBTQ+ community, that I support women's rights, that I support, well, what? Look up the UN Charter of Human Rights and you will get my meaning. I just need to quote that. So, if you're doing any hate speech, it will get you blocked. If you do use black rhetorics, not the first time, not the second time, but if it's happening all the time, I will block you for my peace of mind, because this is my living room. And if anyone sets the wallpaper on fire, I will throw him out. Period. I don't wish you ill afterwards, but and if that's not for you, well, there are other channels that you can receive. All right, it's not it's not that I were so original and so far away. I will not be mad with you if you do. What will happen if this escalates? There are three possibilities. The first one I already contemplated is that the videos will be on German exclusively, and well, you can get yourself an AI tool or what have you to translate what I'm saying, but well, it won't be fun. Not for me too, because I believe in a worldwide community, and English is a pretty great way to connect people, and that's what I like about English. And, also, I like the language. And, second, I can always restrict the comment section, but that's not what YouTube is about. So that leads to the third point, that I might delete this channel altogether, which I'm contemplating on and off all the time, because, well, I don't think we should support Google so much, and we do. And we can rant about, again, we can make a case against tech oligarchs and what have you on the internet as much as we like. As long as we do this on their platforms, they are getting richer still. It's absurd. So this might happen. I will try to find an alternative, and I'm actually looking into European alternatives. But let's be honest, they are not quite there yet. And that's something pretty sad, but that's the way it is. And I'm the first to acknowledge that. I'm not... I'm not that patriotic, or I don't have that fragile an ego that I need to enlarge it by claiming that Europe is any better than anything. It isn't, and you need all kinds of people to make a world. This is what I want to say with this video. That you need all kinds of people to make a world, and I know that I'm not the smoothest character myself. But you won't. I think you won't see me offending you. Not voluntarily, so not on purpose. If I don't stick to my own rules, and if you notice, please notify me in a polite manner. And this is not totalitarian what I say. It's just that if you deserve my respect, every one of you, whether you have a different opinion or not, but that also means you don't get a toddler bonus. So don't try to play that game with me. I've been working with toddlers, kids, and youth half of my life, and so doesn't come as a surprise to me. What caught me by surprise is that how many adults there are, and that's not with this channel. That's actually on other kinds of social media that I'm frequenting. How many toddlers that are actually 50 years old there are. So, this is something. I don't think you enjoyed the video. I don't, and you must take my word for it. I didn't enjoy it either. But it seems to be necessary to speak out like that in these days, even though I don't get it. I just can't get it. Because, look at the pictures of Earth. That's all you need to do. And so we can make it work. It's not that difficult, really. It isn't. And the thing is, we can figure it out together. And I'm not claiming that I'm perfect. I'm not talking from above or anything. I do my mistakes myself, and if I do, notify me, and we can have a polite discussion. But don't try these dirty tricks. Don't try to teach Grams how to cuff, because I studied that topic on black rhetorics and black semantics and what have you, and linguistic weapons and what have you. So it's not going to work out. And I'm not taking offense either, because it's hilarious to me. But we are a community, and other people around here might not have that background. And this is a public space, and we need to keep it civil, and we need to keep it civilized. Because a lot of this vlog is about the use of knives and sharp objects and tools. And you will never see me talk about the weapon characteristics of any knife, and I don't like knives that are to be used as a weapon, because I worked in the prevention of violence with kids, and as I said, and maybe that's a little bit of a job melody that I caught, that I am pretty stern about that. And any sharp object in your hand means you do have a grave responsibility. And I'm not talking about, knives are the essence of evil, you know my stance on that. But on the other hand, if you ever cut yourself while carving, that hurts. And you can hurt yourself pretty badly if you do that. So, and you can hurt other people with any tool, including a pillow. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that it's just the knives. But we need to, all of us, not just me, but all of you, we need to accept the responsibility for the socially adequate use of knives. Because, well, there is a point with the authorities when they are pretty much afraid of knives. Because if you don't talk to your kids about knives and sharp objects and put it in their hands, and I did that. I did carving workshops for, say, at least 15 years with kids, and with different difficult kids too. I put carving knives into their hands, not such a sword, but little chip carving knives, and you know, they had a whole different idea of the use of a knife afterwards. And this is what I'm strongly advocating for us needing to do. For everyone who loves a knife, you need to talk to kids, well, and accept responsibility. And this responsibility doesn't stop with the use of tools, knives, pillows, or a sausage. But also with the same respect that a martial artist would pay in a dojo. Because this is what it's all about. And what I will abstain from now is spilling out my political views. You won't find that anymore on this channel. I was reluctant to do so anyway. I will try to provide you with some projects I did, take you on the journey, things that I made, share some recipes with you, go foraging with you, give you some insight on edible plants. You can forage responsibly. So, but I will not spill my innards out on the internet. That's ridiculous. And I knew beforehand, because I worked with politicians and entrepreneurs for 12 years too, because, well, working with kids didn't pay, and the thing is, that doesn't get us anywhere, and so I will refrain from it from now on. What I will not refrain from, however, is, and I find that very important, a lot of people in our society struggle, and I want you to know, and everything I said in this video is about that. I want you to know that I will at least try to provide a safe space for you. That means I will always speak out about where I'm coming from at the moment, so that you can put it into perspective. And if I'm saying, well, I'm not being too well, and I got shit on my hands while carving and what have you, I'm not perfect, you know, and I'm not someone, I'm not a product. This is the reason why I want this channel to be to stay on one hand relatively small, or to grow in a slower pace, because I don't want to I want to stay myself, and I want to create a safe place for everyone I can provide a place for. I can hold space, you know, and what I expect from you is to do the same for, not for me. You know, if you get on my nerves then I just delete the channel and go on my merry way. There was a time before the internet, and there will be a time after the internet. So that's not my religion, you know. But I want you to take care of each other too. So, as I said, no black rhetorics anymore. And we're pretty serious about that. And if we all can agree on these terms, then we don't have a problem at all. I'm not restricting your opinion. I will, on this video, disable the comments. Not because I want to disable your opinion, but because I would like you to think about what comes to your mind and let it rest a little bit, sit with it a little bit, because one can get pretty much furious if one sees anything on the internet. And I've taken my time myself. So take time, and that's not meant as an offense or something. Sit with it, and then you might be able to consider it in a more rational way. Because if your freedom is restricting the freedom of someone else's life, then it's not freedom, then it's a privilege. And don't get me started on competitiveness and the war in nature and everything, and survival of the fittest, because that's also been dismantled by science, and actually at a pretty early stage already, because according to anthropologist Margaret Mead, the first sign of civilization is not theaters, public baths, writing systems, science, what have you, but a healed injury. Meaning that a group of individuals cared for one individual who got injured. And you get that with crows, you get that with wolves, you get, contrary to common belief, you get that with corvids in general. You get that with chimpanzees and bonobos and orangutan and gorillas, apes. You get that with herd animals like horses, like cows, cattle in general. You get this with deer, and so that's not a human trait, and so don't disgrace yourself by claiming everything would be about competition. It's not even if we're here in the forest. I'm not buying into the concept of the internet of the woods, but it is it's a great way to advertise the deeper concept behind it, meaning that all the trees and the mushroom network, the mycelium, and everything in the woods is interconnected, and we got scientific proof for that. It's not as simple as this is the internet of the forest, but it's pretty close. And so competitiveness in nature that's not a natural law. There is competitiveness in nature. That's not what I'm saying. It's not that simple. Nature is complex, and and the fox hunts the mice, and gets the hare gets eaten by the wolf, or what have you, and that's not what I'm saying. But the whole system is cooperative, and mankind has survived as long by cooperating, not by competing. And so don't disgrace yourself by claiming that science is, and science denial is, by the way, also something that will get you kicked out here. This is something that I really don't like at all, and this is something that offends me, because it's just crap. And if anyone denies science, there's no point in arguing anymore. So, well, living room. That's it. I think you, as I said, you didn't enjoy the video, I think. I didn't either. But you need to know that I made this video because I really want you to stay sane and healthy in these mad times. Because mad times they are. And mad times they are because we lack respect. If we try, it's not that no one needs to be successful first try, and no one needs to be perfect, and no one needs to be a product, and no one needs to be always the best person in the world and the kindest person and what have you. That's never what I'm saying. But I will try. This is what I want you to know. I will try. This is not to say that I will always succeed, but I will try. And I expect from you, because I respect you. So no toddler bonus, as I said. I expect from you that you also try. And I assume that you do. That's not... I will not take anything away from this assumption that you are all, in principle, equally competent. At least everyone is competent to go visit a library. And no, Google is not, or ChatGPT is not the first thing that should come to your mind. But go to your public library and and look up the latest research, not something from the middle of the last century, and because it doesn't apply anymore, because science has walked on, and that's a great thing. That's something that science is one of the great things that can still save mankind. And and it's out there, and there are not just scientific works. You can also always advocate that people go to the library or create your own buy books if you can afford them, and that's it's awesome that this knowledge is out there, and use it. And the internet can be a really great tool for that. And there is a time and place for watching cat videos or what have you, or the latest stunts some BMXer did, or there's a time and place for that. That's entertainment, is perfectly okay. But you can, with one click only, you can get into the OPEC system. You can get into I don't know what's it's called over in America, and with just one click you can go to all the libraries that there are in your country, and you can try to go to internet archives, go to PubMed.gov. You can find so many medical studies on plants and natural remedies, and sometimes science is sometimes hurting. And if I heard, as a folk remedy that you can use chaga for walking on water, and and you look it up in the medical library, PubMed.gov, and people say, that's bullshit. Then it's bullshit, because they looked into it, they did research, and that's where science is for, not for our comfort, but for us. To better ourselves. And you don't need to be better than anyone, you need to be better than yesterday. And if it doesn't work out, no harm done. There's another day, and you can learn. It's not that you have to. And there's so much out there and so much fascinating stuff. And it doesn't stay the same. It's not always remaining static. And it's not remaining static because people cooperate and gather knowledge and are curious. And this is what I mean. So, that said, that's a way. And I would prefer to walk it in a well, how's that called? How's that even called? A civilized manner? Rewilded manner? What have you? What is civilization? What is rewilding? What have you? This is a big topic actually, because the Nazis in the Third Reich were pretty stoked on rewilding and on civilization and what have you. So it's maybe not the great concept that we sometimes think it is. But that's another topic. And given that I have disabled the comments, it's a little bit unfair if I'm opening up even more topics. I just want to say that respect, the same respect you would pay in a dojo, is also applying to scientific discussion, academical discussion, and a discussion on the internet, because there's a lot of stuff that you don't know about me and I don't know about you, and this is what manners are for, and rest assured that I don't mean you no ill, and I don't want to I don't want to be right, but I want to make it work, if you get my meaning. So that said, I hope you stay sane and healthy in these times, as I said, and this is what this is about. And I hope to see you soon, even though I don't have regular access to the internet still, and well, I'm taking my time to reply to comments, so I am really grateful for your patience. And I would perfectly understand if you would say, well, it's getting on my nerves. I'm commenting and I want to stay in contact, and but I need to make it work out, and it's a little bit hard at the moment. And that's not whining, in case you want to use that. But I'm just informing you that there are technicals I am trying to work out at the moment, and trying to make that work for your convenience, actually. So, as I said, take good care, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.